Black and chin up, Nick Dan.
That is not true. Cavs and Warriors. Warriors and Cavs. Einhorn, Finkel, Finkel, Einhorn. No matter how you say it, it's been the NBA Finals matchup 4 years in a row. And despite sports fans craving incredible rivalries, Celtics-Lakers, Lakers-Celtics, many are reportedly growing weary of this matchup. Well, LeBron has something to say about that.
Teams have had their opportunities to beat the Cavs over the last 4 years, and teams have had opportunities to beat the Warriors over the last 4 years. And if you want to see somebody else in the postseason, then you got to beat them.
Best NBA's got to get better. It's not our fault.
All right, what do you make of LeBron and Clay's comments?
All right, I agree with them in part. The reason I think people probably rubbed a little more poorly by Clay's than LeBron's is because the team that was closest to beating the Warriors, to prevent the Warriors from going to a bunch of these finals, the Warriors went and poached that team's best player and kneecapped that team in Oklahoma City. But it is what it is. Nobody's been able to beat LeBron in this conference in nearly a decade. In the East, no matter what team he's been on, and no matter who his teammates are. And this is why this is intriguing to me. The first finals, Warriors-Cavs, the best teammate LeBron had in those finals ended up being Dellavedova. The next two finals, the best teammate was Kyrie Irving. This year, we got no clue. The best teammate we think's Kevin Love, but he was concussed, and Jeff Green actually played better than Love had been playing. So it's been very different versions of Cavs teams from each finals. From the first version, versions 2 and 3, and then this version. And as you mentioned earlier, Steve, for the Warriors, it's two different teams. It's the pre-KD team and the post-KD team. So while the names on the jerseys are the same, they are very different teams because of the roster turnover Cleveland's had and because of the singular addition Golden State's had.
I mean, both of these runs, though, will be epic as far as NBA history. When we look back on NBA history, we'll look at these 4 years and be like, wow, LeBron. Oh, he went back to Cleveland. For people who won't know the whole story, I'm like, well, what happened? The kid was born there, and then what? Then they got the first pick, and then he left? Oh, yeah, he went to Miami and won a couple of championships, and he came back? I mean, LeBron's side of the story is a fairy tale. Like, that didn't turn up to be a nightmare. He went back and delivered on the letter, on the promise. So, wow, how could that not be a great story? The Warriors were one of the greatest collection of basketball team players that we had seen. And then they went out and added Kevin Durant. Both of them epic as far as NBA history. So Clay is right. If you want to beat us, you're going to have to get better. Everyone's been gunning for LeBron since he was a kid. So, like, get better. Eastern Conference, the Celtics thought they got better. They had some injuries. A couple years ago, the Hawks thought they were better. Man, Toronto is doing everything that they can. They done fired the coach. They've been trying to get better, but no one's been able to do it. Both of these stories are very standalone by themselves, are great and epic stories.
But together, would we like this rivalry more if there was, maybe if the Warriors weren't as good and if the Cavs were a little bit better?
Here's the thing, and no one was saying this, I don't think, about last year's finals. People wanted to see part 3. Now, people thought the Warriors were heavily favored, but the Cavs had just won. They still had Kyrie Irving. They were healthy, and people were excited for it. The only reason this narrative is coming out is because we've seen how much Cleveland has struggled, that LeBron is playing the best basketball of his career, and it nearly wasn't enough to get out of round 1 against Indiana. It nearly wasn't enough to get out of round 3 against Boston, who was missing its 2 stars. Like, you know what it's going to take America to get into this series if people aren't? And by the way, people say they're not into it. It's going to be one of the highest-rated NBA finals ever, at least in the beginning. What it will take America to get into this series is Cleveland winning one of these first.
Oh, I thought you were going to say earlier start time.
Like, no. The start time's fine. It's Cleveland. If at some point it's like, hold on, could LeBron do this? Then all of a sudden people will be pulled in, much more so, by the way, than if it's, could LeBron beat Houston? Or could he beat the Pelicans? Like, the intrigue of, could he do this, will be high drama if it exists. The concern people have is these are going to be 20-point games.
Yes, and not having Kyrie in the fourth one, it takes some of the shine off of what we're going to see. Kyrie not being healthy in the first one, it took something off of this being an epic series. Them adding Durant, we had to see number 3. And everyone this year had their best shot. Cleveland was the 4th. seed, almost lost in round 1, and I had them as an underdog in round 2 and in the Eastern Conference Finals. They earned a spot, even though they're not a great team. They earned a spot in the finals.
And I would ask America this, all right? I've listened for the last 4 years.
We have a few people watching the islands.
Okay, American everywhere also. Our friends in Trinidad.
Yes.
I would ask the viewing audience this. I've listened for 4 years. People don't like watching Maury Ball and James Harden draw fouls. I've listened that the Rockets side of basketball is aesthetically not pleasing. So did you want them to make the NBA Finals? And out east, let's assume the Warriors make it out west. You were excited for Victor Oladipo's Pacers to get there. You were excited for the Toronto Raptors to be there. That would have jazzed you up. You were excited for the Celtics without their 2 best players to be there. Or are you really deep down, you want to see if LeBron can do it. You want to see what it's going to look like.
Can I just say this? Why is it, and just hold on a second before you jump, why is it so far-fetched to think LeBron James can't do this one other thing? He's done everything else. He has taken a team of misfits, if you will, to the NBA Finals, where nobody thought they were going to get out of almost any of the rounds except what they did with Toronto. He keeps surprising us time after time after time. The numbers, the statistics, the records, he's breaking all of them where we're just sort of, oh, there's no way he's going to do this. Isn't that far-fetched for us to think that maybe this could be the craziest of all the things he does?
Go ahead, see. If it were a 1-game sample, no. If it were a best of 3, no. Best of 5, maybe. But for a guy that is this undermanned to win a best of 7, we saw the Giants beat the Patriots. The Giants wouldn't beat the Patriots in 4 out of 7. Give me a... We saw Team USA beat the Russians. They ain't winning no best of 7.
Okay, that one I'll give you.
You know what I like? They got no shot. So, and people can say, oh, how can the team with LeBron be that heavy of an underdog? Because you do got to run 5 guys out there. It's not King of the Hill where it's just one-on-one.
And this is not the NBA 20 years ago, 10 years ago, nor 30 years ago. With one guy, you could win a championship in the NBA. But that was before the analytics, the 3-point shooting, and also the creating the super teams. That's totally out. I mean, this would be, in a series.
It'd be the biggest upset in my sports life.
Especially because you got to win 4 times. You got to win 4 times, and shooting the 3 ball is so important. And they have 3 of the best shooters all on one team. So to me, I think it would be the biggest upset of our lifetime.
I can't believe you guys think Cleveland's going to win. Crazy! Coming up, is there an under-the-radar MVP candidate in the NFL? It's a joke.
Well, I wasn't sure.
Funny.
I wasn't sure.
It's next on First Things First.